Welcome to Pre-Algebra A. We are working in Course 2 book, Chapter 1, Lesson 1, Comparing and Ordering Integers on page 4. So the first thing is we want to know what an integer is. An integer are the set of positive whole numbers. You should be writing this down too, please. Their opposite and 0. So if we think of a number line, here's 0 in the middle. That is an integer. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. The opposite of 1 is going to be -1. Opposite of 2, -2. Opposite of 3, -3. -4, -5, -6, -7. Okay, so like I said, -2, the opposite is 2. -5, the opposite is a +5. So therefore, opposites are, oops, wrong thing, so sorry. Opposites, I'm going to go down here, are two numbers that are the same distance from 0 on a number line. So if we were looking at 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's 5 spaces from 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. -5 is 5 spaces from 0. So we are going to now look at some of these numbers. Find the opposite of each number. So if we think of a number line and we have -8, it's going to be -8, -7, -6, -5, -4, -3, -2, -1, 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the opposite is 8. The opposite of 13, go the other direction, -13. Opposite of -22 is going to be a +22. The sum of a number and its opposite is 0. So we will want to fill that in here, is 0. What is the sum of -3 plus 3? So once again, we can think of a number line. Here is 0, -1, -2, -3. So if we're start on -3 and we add 3, 1, 2, 3, what's it going to equal? 0. So find the sum. a positive 8 plus a negative 8. 3 plus 3, ooh, one of those was supposed to be a negative. 3 plus 3 is 6, but this should be, sorry about that, negative 3 plus 3 equals 0. Negative 5 plus 5 equals 0. So as I've been using up here, you can use a number line to help you. So anytime you have that straight line, you just start with 0. And it doesn't have to be perfect as long as you get the idea of it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5, negative 6, negative 7, negative 8. You can think of negatives in a few different ways. For example, if you didn't have enough money at the store and you borrowed $5 from your sister, you are now in the negative. You would owe her $5, so you'd be a negative 5. You could also think of it as a temperature. Sometimes you can be below 0. I was driving through Wyoming and it was negative 17 degrees at one point. And that is cold, 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 especially for us California people. It could also be thinking about under sea level. So sea level 0, and if it's lower than that, it would be a negative. Now let's look at comparing integers. Leave our number line there. So if we have the numbers negative 7 and 1, and we want to compare them using greater than, less than, or equal to. So 7, if we look up here on our number line, is going to be over there, negative 7 and 1. Well, this is positive in this direction, and this is negative. So this is like saying, you owe me $7. You owe me $7. You're short $7, but I have 1. Who has more? I do. 1 is greater than negative 7, or negative 7 is less than 1. Either way, if you look at the way that the greater than, less than's facing, they are both facing the number 1. The little alligator is eating the number 1 because it is bigger than negative 7. So let's look at comparing a few other numbers. So if we compare negative 8 and negative 2. So once again, if you need to, go ahead and do your number line. And both these are negative, so I don't need to do a whole lot over there. Negative 2. Okay, so we're comparing negative 8 and negative 2. 0 is bigger than negative 2. So whatever one is closer to 0 on the number line is going to be the bigger number. So negative 8 is less than negative 2. Or you could write it negative 2 is greater than negative 8. Either one is correct. So now we're going to look at ordering integers. So we want to place them in order. And we have Kodiak is going to be 10 degrees Fahrenheit. Anchorage is -5 degrees Fahrenheit. Fairbanks is -27 degrees Fahrenheit. And Valdez is going to be 8 degrees Fahrenheit. So we want to do the warmest to coldest. Oh, could you guys see that? Sorry, you may not have been able to. Kodiak 10 degrees, Anchorage -5, Fairbanks -27, Valdez 8 degrees. So if we're thinking about a number line, and here's 0, well, we see 8 degrees is bigger than 0. 10 is bigger than 8. And then we go backwards. What comes first, -5 or -27? -5 and then -27. So here's our order. If we are looking to the coldest to warmest, -27, so this is going to be Fairbanks. -5's the second coldest, and that's Anchorage. -8 degrees is Valdez. And Kodiak is the warmest at a whopping 10 degrees Fahrenheit. Whew. So now we're going to look at ordering the numbers 3, -1, -4, and 2 from least to greatest. So you may not need a number line, but it does help for some. So if we are looking at 3, so we have a +3, we have a -1, we have a -4, and a +2. So now we just want to start, because they're asking for the least to the greatest. The least is -4. The second least is 1. Moving right down the line. 2, I'm sorry, this was a -1, 2, and 3. That is our answer. How are integers different from whole numbers? Whole numbers do not include negative numbers. Okay? Whole numbers are just the positive. So whole numbers do not include negative numbers. Integers are negative numbers, positive numbers, and the number 0. What is the name for a pair of numbers that have a sum of 0? What was that called? Do you remember? It is called opposites. Does every number have an opposite? Explain your thinking. Does every number have an opposite? What do you think? I would say yes. All numbers have an opposite, except 0. There is no such thing as a -0. So that will conclude our lesson for today. You are going to go ahead and do your homework, page 6 and 7, number 4 through 46 evens. Hope you enjoyed the lesson.